Hello there, and welcome back to the Battle of the Atlantic. And that is currently a really exciting and new event that's currently taking place that I urge you to try out for yourself. And it's basically the first time that we see World War II era submarines, and it's the Germans versus the USA. It's a convoy mode, and I have gameplay in all the available vehicles. First things first, this is said to be realistic battles, but in fact it's arcade battles. You'll see this in the ship's performance, that the ships reload, that the plane have the drop indicator, etc, etc. So please take this into account. And I think that this actually leads to a little bit of some problems, because the advantage is absolutely with the destroyers, but we'll come to this in just a moment. For the Germans, we have the Type 7 submarine, rank 2, battle rating 3.7. We have a 37mm, we have two twin 20mm, and we have no deck gun. We have 10 533mm G7E torpedoes, which are similar to the G7As, with the big problem that their range is only 2 kilometers, but they also have a thick warhead, which is absolutely enough versus those cargo ships or Liberty ships. And you have 4 forward-facing torpedo tubes. The one rear-facing torpedo tube cannot be used for torpedoes, but for the 11 tube-launched moored magnetic mines, TMA. And when you destroy an enemy player destroyer with it, it's fun, but yeah, unrealistic. The stat card is 35 kilometers per hour. The thing is, thanks to it being arcade, it's more like 44 on the surface, and submerged it's 19-20 kilometers per hour. Then we have the Heinkel 111H6, rank 2, battle rating 2.7, either 2 torpedoes or 32 50 kilogram bombs when I played it. And then for the US, we have the USS Fletcher, rank 2, battle rating 4.7, 10 torpedoes with a 1 meter setting by default, which you cannot change. We have depth charges and mortar depth charges, 5-inch 38s, and some AA, proxy fuse, Sabron, whatever your heart desire is. Yeah, it's absolutely wild, and it goes for 56 kilometers per hour. Again, that's the RB stat card, but it's actually faster because we have AB mode. Then we have the USS Tacoma, which is battle rating 3.3. It's a frigate, rank 5, battle rating 3.3, and it has 3 3-inch guns, some AA, and the thing is, it's worse in every aspect, except that it has the Mark 10 Hedgehog, which fire over the bow. And I couldn't make it work, but I didn't try too often, to be honest. But honestly, the majority has already decided the Fletcher is superior. That is what you see as your main opponent. And as the plane, we have the PBY-5 Catalina with either 2 torpedoes or 16 100-pound bombs, which I will use later. So we have a convoy mode, and your target is to destroy 13 of the cargo ships or the Liberty ships, and you have to do this within 20 minutes, which is quite a drastic time restriction, if you will. And the problem that I have with this game mode, I just want to summarize it right here, that we later on can talk about the really good things, because there is a lot of good things to talk about. First of all, the destroyers spawn only 3.5 kilometers away from the submarines, and the submarines have only a range with their torpedoes of 2 kilometers. And the torpedoes reload, I mean, if you have expanded all of them, as you can see here, the reload takes forever, and you can only reload on the surface or at the periscope depth when you have expanded all of them. And that is quite a restriction. And then a few more things. In this case, we are only allowed to get into the convoy because the enemies made a massive mistake and not a single destroyer initially spawned in the south. So we could infiltrate here the convoy directly and just wreak havoc. And we did. And you will see later on with the results that we not just only destroyed 13. The issue is if the enemies play somewhat competent as a submarine, it's really difficult. One destroyer alone on one flank can suppress all the submarines, force them to dive, otherwise they will get hacked to pieces with the 5-inch 38s, the AG rounds alone, and yeah, also protect the convoy from aircraft relatively efficiently. And then you also, which is a game mechanic I have quickly to go into, you see this red circle around me. That is my detection range, depending on my speed, not on the cavitation of my propellers, so independent of the power that the engines are putting out. And that radius is at full as large as from the destroyer spawns to the submarine spawns. There is no way in hell that you can escape a destroyer if he really wants you. And you can try to work around it, and there is something that I have to talk about, and that is the 60 meters threshold. It's actually 59, but we call it 60 meters. And below 60 meters, the submarine cannot be detected, nor can it be attacked. And that is good, because it gives somewhat of an escape area for the submarine. But when you are below 60 or 59 meters, the setting is yellow, and you from time to time take damage. And if you don't repair that damage, your hull implodes. However, there is also some RNG mechanic behind it that I have absolutely no idea how it works. Sometimes I did absolutely not get destroyed when I was actually already heavily damaged. But then again, something like this happens. And let me know in the comment section what you think about this. So I want to go ham on this convoy, and I realize that I'm pursued by a destroyer. I see him, he's on me, I go low, and boom! 59 meters, and I just randomly implode without taking any damage prior to this. That is absolutely frustrating. It took me a long time to get into this position, and I think Gaijin should overhaul this drastically. The Liberty ships, as you can see, also have some 20mm AA, and maybe I would have been better off with the 32 50-kilogram bombs, drop 3 on each one of those Liberty ships with the holographic aim indicator, but I wanted to choose violence, aka the torpedoes. So let's talk about the good thing. First of all, World War II submarines. Yes, I actually wanted to make a video in the last couple of weeks talking about why submarines would be a bad idea in the current naval setting scenarios. And they basically would be useless. In reality, they are way too slow, way too unmaneuverable, can't really defend themselves. The torpedoes are too easy to detect and to shoot down, not shoot down, but to dodge. And aircraft would just farm you, as we'll see later on. So I don't think in the current random battles submarines have any sort of place to be. But when it comes to such events, yes, please polish them a little bit, give space and time to the submarines, finish the game mechanics a little bit on a high note. Then it would be really cool. And there is a lot of historical significance around submarines, and this obviously needs to be taken into account here. What I want to say is, this is the last thing Gaijin can implement as a new class. We already saw the new or the really modern submarines that were boring as all hell as a 1st April event, at least in my opinion. And this has much more charm. Make it some really realistic settings, let us play around it, make more diverse scenarios, and then it actually can be something. And here I want to show you, now we are below 60 meters. This is all the depth charges in the world, and none of them are going to harm us because we played in the 3-dimensional environment, even though we are significantly slower than a destroyer. honestly, as far as this event goes, it puts me out of my comfort zone. I have to relearn so many things, and I really want it, and it's really cool. But the way that you can suppress submarines, it's absolutely drastic. You can literally rob them of any air to breathe. And I'm not talking about the oxygen getting depleted on the submarines. No. I'm talking about that they have no room to maneuver. You can close on them, and the destroyers, they also constantly reload those mortars, those depth charges significantly faster than the torpedoes on the submarines reload. And I'm talking about after they all have been completely expended. And also they only reload, the submarine torpedoes reload only when you are at periscope depth or on the surface, and surface is an absolute no-go, and periscope depth makes you also really vulnerable to depth charges, air attacks, etc., as you'll see right now. So I think that it is absolutely mandatory to understand the limitations here, to play around them. But what Gaijin nailed is the feel, the scenario, the cinematic aspect. I really believe that I'm in Atlantic here. I believe that this is really important what I'm doing here in defending the convoy, even though the US have here a massive advantage. Not just that it was just in reality so that the convoy's guards were usually absolutely outnumbered, but also they didn't have this artificial spotting system, they didn't have that kind of air support, and many things are just not historically accurate. I know it's supposed to be RB, and yes, it's a game, but I think there are many things that play into rendering the submarines here at a massive disadvantage. And even though you know a lot about how it actually played out in reality, etc., which is the whole point of War Thunder, that so many people kind of try to, how to say it, that reenacting Battle of the Atlantic or something, it's not possible with those settings, with this scenario. It's just not realistic. The destroyers can do whatever they want and still make it really difficult for the submarines. They still can just drive around, and as long as they're not straight forwarding in a torpedo or in a mine, they're good to go, right? So there's so much to unpack. I cannot possibly do it all here, but it's a good start. That's what I try to say. It has to be a bit reworked, it has to be a bit polished, and we are in a really good way. But then again, knowing Gaijin and what they do for the better part of 10 years, 11 years, well, let me know in the comment section what you think about this. I'm looking forward to more of such scenarios. I'm looking forward to just seeing how this plays out. I'm really interested in your opinion, and I cannot really get enough of this. I have to now go back and right play it. That's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.